Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Journey to Christmas Land. I am your intrepid train conductor, Kira Davis, and I am here with my good friend and resident Christmas Land expert, Amelia Hamilton. Amelia, Merry Christmas. We really are in the heat of it. We've got days
We are
left until Christmas. Um, it's a lovely season. How's everything going there with you and your plans for the holidays?
good. We actually have snow, which we don't always get every year around here. So I am delighted. Things are going really well with planning. I am just like Buddy the Elf over here, happy as can be. How about you guys?
We're honestly, this is a weird Christmas for us. We're traveling a lot. I'm leaving tomorrow for Puerto Rico for a Christmas party in Puerto Rico. I've never been to Puerto Rico, so that'll be interesting. My husband's has an office there. He heads up the office there, and then I'm heading to Cabo for a few days after that, just for a vacation.
Look at
This is my
you.
this is my first time that I've been traveling doing fun travel pre-Christmas. This is also, Amelia, my first sort of empty nester Christmas. I mean, I still have my kids are, my daughter's home from college. My son lives at home after he graduated college, but I don't have the same prep, you know,
Yeah.
for having the kids and doing all the things and the Christmas program. So I don't know. It's a good Christmas, but it's a strange. Usually we're at my in-laws' home,
Yeah.
but they're moving, so they don't want any guests.
That was news to me.
Yeah, oh, they're not moving out of Phoenix, they're moving to a new
Okay.
house, yeah. Yeah, no, 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 and
You
it's
know,
such
I love
an
those two. I've got to keep up with them.
I know, no, yes, Victor and Faith Davis, yes, we have to keep up. We can't lose track of those 2, they're too
We can't.
valuable.
We're Facebook
No,
friends. They haven't posted about it.
I know. It's kinda cool, and in a way, it fits in with the family theme of our movie today because
Mhm.
what they're doing is they live right next door to my sister-in-law, their daughter, my husband's oldest sister, and, they all kinda live their lives together. Her adult children live with her, and she also cares for a grandson, and they just realized that having 2 houses isn't necessary these days,
Hmm.
and so they're combining their resources,
Okay.
and they're all gonna, move into one home together with a grandparent suite so mom and dad can.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think it's very
That'll
sweet.
be really nice.
Yeah, I really like it. So, in that aspect, we're just gonna give them some space this Christmas, and I'll go enjoy my space in Cabo, I guess. Well, Amelia, I want to ask you about Christmas music because today's movie is a music movie, and we talk a lot about Christmas music on this show. Do you have a favorite Christmas song, or even maybe an
Mhm.
album that you just go to every year?
I think my favorite song is "Oh Holy Night."
I was
I
gonna
just
say that.
really
Yes, I love that song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's so many different, renditions and versions, and I love them all. They're
yeah. It's a
so good.
beautiful
It's
hymn.
beautiful.
It's
It's,
a beautiful.
it's the actual story of what Christmas is about, like, it gets me in the feels, and,
Yeah.
when someone sings it and you know that they really are feeling the birth of Jesus, it just, like,
I'm getting
gets
chills
me. I
now, you
know.
talking. I love it, and you know what? That's the song is really special to me because even when I was raised in an atheist household, and even when I wasn't a Christian, I still loved that song. It
Yeah,
still brought me chills. I would still love to hear it every Christmas.
yeah.
So it's such a beautiful song. But on the secular side, I will say my favorite Christmas song is Mariah Carey. All I Want for Christmas.
It's a good song. There's a reason that Mariah Carey defrosts every Christmas, right? It's
She's
so good.
earned it.
It's so good.
She's earned it. She will never have to work a day in her life, and honey does not work a day. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen videos of Mariah Carey lately on stage. She does not work up there.
No.
She does nothing. She's like, "I've done all my work."
Yeah, and, good for her.
Yep. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I've done
no
all my work.
shade.
She doesn't even walk. Those guys carry her. She
Yeah,
has guys that carry her around the stage. She
yeah,
doesn't
while
even
she
walk.
lip syncs and doesn't even pretend not to.
And I'm here for it because if you've earned Christmas Queen status, I think you can do that.
Yeah,
No shade. And I think that's what you're paying the ticket money for.
yeah.
You're paying to be condescended to because she is too good for you. And she is. Sh well, that's great. I love that. I love it. We're always on the same page. This is why we do this podcast together because we're always on the same page about this kind of stuff. But I
Yeah,
love that we love this. Well, Amelia, we're doing this movie for a reason.
we are,
This has got a goat in it. Set us up.
as it does. This is the last movie of our season, of our Christmas season, and then we're gonna have a couple of classic episodes coming up, over the actual Christmas while we take a break. So we wanted to go out with a bang. We needed to bring in a ringer that we knew was gonna be a really good movie. So what are you gonna do except go to the brand new movie from Christopher Polaha?
Because we respect the
We
Polaha
respect
right here
Polaha.
on Journey to Christmas Land, y'all.
It's like number rule number 1 is you respect the Polaha.
It's literally on the front door.
It's on the front door.
And we don't have a door. We don't have an office, but
Well,
when
we
we
do
get
now.
one,
The front
it
door of
will
our
be
heart.
there. It will be there. Yeah. So we know with Christopher Polaha with Chris. We know with Chris. I'm
Our
just
friend
kidding. We don't
Casey.
know him at all. We know with Christopher Polaha, you're always gonna get, even if the movie is not necessarily satisfactory, you're always gonna get a great performance. I've said this before. Amelia picks the movies because she really is. It's not a joke. She really is the Christmas Land expert. But I mean, this was a layup because it's Polaha.
It was. And, I had seen posts, online saying how great it was. Sorry, it's Christmas at the Grand Ole Opry, by the way. I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
even say what it was. Or sorry, a Grand Ole Opry Christmas.
Excuse me.
I knew it was gonna be great. We also the female stars Nikki DeLoach, who we also love. The 2 of them together put in some country music. I felt pretty confident about this one, but like you said, even if the movie, like the film itself, the story, something wasn't quite as good as we were hoping, Christopher Polaha is gonna bring it, and we're still gonna enjoy the our movie.
It's got everything, Amelia. Wait, before I let you go on, but it's got everything that we like, right? It's got that traditional, like southern, like we got that country sort of
Mhm,
feel. It's got Christopher Polaha,
mhm.
and it also has time travel.
Time travel. Mhm. So that's what I'm saying. We didn't even have to just, like, let Christopher Polaha carry the whole thing because it was a great movie.
Yep, you nailed it. Well, you nailed this one, so let's
Loved
get
it.
into it.
Loved it. So, all right. So we get started with we're at the Grand Ole Opry, and Winters and Wade are up there on stage singing a Christmas song. When they're done, they go off stage. They have a handshake, wish each other well. You can tell something's going down. We don't really know what though.
I loved this opening because it's dated, right? Like, so you feel like you're looking at an old film, but I
Mhm.
really loved the opening. It's music, it's Christmassy, and you jumped right in. And then I felt like I'm having a like a cultural experience here as a part of
Yeah.
this movie.
It was good. So now we go to someone takes a picture of them, and then we go to that picture on a woman's wall. So and we meet Gentry, who is played by Nikki DeLoach. And she is at home living her life, doing some business calls when Mac comes over. And Mac is Christopher Polaha. And he is coming over, and we find out that, they just have this little banter about, he doesn't want the wreath that he has. He's going to give her the wreath. So basically, we find out she loves her country roots. They both grew up in Nashville. He's more busy businessman type, but he's come back to Nashville. He's not as into the Nashville roots. So just kind of keep that in your
Can
back
I
pocket.
say, Amelia, this is how you do exposition in
Yes.
Christmas land. This is how it's done. You cannot escape the fact that you've got to do a big exposition dump so that you can get to the meat of the story.
Right.
But there's a way to do it that's artful and not blunt, and they nailed it.
Yeah, they did a great job. Let's trade wreaths. This one's more you. This one's more me.
And I got the tone and tenor of their relationship. I
Yep.
got his past and her past, and I know exactly where they are.
Yep.
And that our movie last week, I didn't know they were in New York City until you told me.
Told you. I know. So we find out as he's walking her to her car because she was on the way out the door. So we find out she is a manager slash waitress at one of the bars on Broadway in Nashville. He is a big time music manager and he wants to sign her for her songwriting skills. And she's like, no, no, that's just not going to happen.
I
So
love it in Christmas land, like, no one wants to be rich and famous.
I
No.
know. She's like, no, I'm going to keep managing my restaurant.
No, I don't want this opportunity that other songwriters would cut off their left leg to get.
Right.
Oh.
No, that's not for me. So she's at work waiting tables. So again, it's a good way to do the exposition. These customers at the restaurant are like, "Aren't you Jet Wade's daughter who was, from that country duo at the beginning? Why did they stop singing? Why did they stop working together? What happened?" And she's like, "Nobody really knows why. I wish I could answer your question." So there we go.
Again, show, don't just tell.
Yeah,
And you have to be creative with that exposition stuff, so I
yeah,
always appreciate the way that I appreciate a creative project for the people to work together to put them in situations. I do appreciate a clever exposition setup.
yeah. And you could tell from her response that she gets asked this question all the time. You know, this is people wanna know what happened to Winters and Wade, and she just doesn't have an answer for them.
Yeah, yeah, but it's a mystery.
Now, her friend Rita stops by, and this part, the exposition was a little bit more exposition-y because she's like, why haven't you responded to the Opryland? I know they've gotten in touch because their 100th anniversary Christmas special is on the 23rd, and you've been invited, but you haven't replied." Okay, they did kinda jam it in there, but we'll let it go.
Maybe they had to. I mean, this movie is 90 minutes
Yeah.
about, I guess I'm gonna give them some grace. There's probably another scene, and then they're like, "We gotta cut it. Just have
Yeah,
Sharon just rip it
it
off."
worked. I
It
don't care.
worked. We got it. She's the daughter of a very famous late musician. She has Opry roots, and she doesn't wanna go to the Christmas
Yeah,
special because
and
she
it's a tribute to Winters and Wade, and she's like, "I just, I don't wanna go. I don't know what happened with
no
them."
hard feelings, like,
Yeah, no
and
hard
they make it
feelings.
like yeah,
She's still very close to Van Winters,
Vaughn.
the other half of the duo, are close, but she doesn't wanna do it.
Yeah.
All right. So Mac is also at work. His work is super different. He is fancy. He is at a meeting. He's got this like fancy watch that people are like, look at you when you win manager of the year 5 times in a row, you get, that. So, I mean, he is like, we know he's fancy. And there's this up and coming artist named Rowdy, which I loved, who wants Mac to be his manager, but he's like, I don't know, you know, his like country roots are everything and Mac, that's not his thing. So his friend is like, "Why don't you ask your girlfriend?"
Mhm.
Kinda like he didn't say it in that tone, but it was implied.
Mhm. Mhm. This is where we get to see that there's a little more here
Yeah,
than just friends.
yeah. So Mac is like, "Oh my gosh, that Gentry's not my girlfriend. We've been, really good friends since high school, but that's, all it is." And his friend's like, "She and her husband have been divorced for like 3 years now. Just get in there. You
Thanks
like
for
her.
that
You know she likes you back."
exposition.
Yeah.
Thanks for that exposition, friend. True to form in Christmas Land, the random friend was way too interested in all the personal details of the third party.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Exactly. It
but we
wasn't a
got
black
what
best
we
friend, but it was still a best friend who was living
that's
for
right.
for their love life.
Didn't see any black best friends in this movie, but we
No.
we had a couple helpful black people.
We did. We did. So the next day, there's like an Opry tour, and Mac and Gentry are both on it. And this was kind of a fun way to get in some Opry history for the viewer.
I love it when they do this, actually. Saw this in Biltmore Christmas, another
Yeah.
Polaha fave, but we've seen this in other, Hallmark movies that we've reviewed, but I kinda love it, and we say this all the time on this show. Like, A Great American Family, this is like, if you guys need money, obviously everyone needs money to make these movies. This is a great way. I
Yeah.
love this idea, partnering with an actual tourist location
Yeah.
and using that as sort of a joint effort, and the viewer get to learn a little history, and it adds a little something, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some extra cash in there too.
Yeah. It does. It was great. So while they do the tour, Gentry runs into
Vaughn,
Vaughn, her dad's old partner. And of course, Rita had spilled the beans that she was going to be there. So he's like, "Come on, come do this show. You know you want to." And she's like, I just don't want to. She's like, that when I was younger, I always wanted to be a songwriter. And, when I step into the Grand Ole Opry, I want to be for me, for my work, for my merit, not just on my dad's coattails. She doesn't want to be a Nepo baby up there.
I appreciated that. I did appreciate that she said, "I want to earn it for myself."
Yeah. And he's like, it's not too late to have a career. You can still write songs, but she's not sure.
She's not sure, "Do I want this amazing opportunity that no other songwriter in the world would ever have access to? I don't know, let me think
That you got
about it.
offered yesterday by a manager.
I'll think about it."
Yeah. And so he makes this comment to her that, the Opry is kind of magic and Christmas is magic. So you just never know. When you bring those two things together, you never know what's going to happen at Christmas.
Oh, wow, you never know. Well, I'm sure that, lots of people talk about magic at Christmas. He
Yeah,
was just
you
trying
never
to
know
be
what's gonna happen. That will definitely not come back, though, in this movie.
I don't see how. It's
Yeah,
about country music.
no.
But let's see.
She goes back on stage, and she just kinda wants to think for a minute. She just kinda wants to have some time for herself. She sits down in one of the pews and is, like, sucked back in time.
Loved it.
Suddenly yes, it was perfect. There was, like, this blinding light, and now it's 1995. Well, she doesn't know when it is, actually, at this point. She's just back in time. Winters and Wade are out there. She sees her dad, and she's like, "What in the world is going on?" But she, like, stands up again, and she's knocked back into present day. She's like, "What
I
just happened?"
loved how they did that transition on this show. We have done so many time travel movies now, and it's always a point, like, we're always tickled by how they use the time travel mechanism.
Mhm.
We did one where it was a carousel.
Yeah,
That was really funny. But I loved how they did this actually. It was very simple and not belabored, and that's fine. We don't
yeah,
need to spend we say this a lot. We don't need to spend a lot of time on the mechanics of the magic. We're here for it. We
yeah,
get it. So
yeah,
she sat in that chair. There's something magical about it. Bright light, poof, now I'm here.
yeah, now I'm here. She tells Mac what happened, and he's like, "Did you hit your head? Are you okay?" Which I
I laughed.
appreciated,
I laughed.
it.
I thought the scene was so cute. Polaha was so cute in the scene.
He was
He was
so
cracking me up.
concerned. It was the total opposite of the woman in the Biltmore Christmas who was like, "I understand. Are you a ghost? How can I help?"
Yeah. He was like, "I just need to know, do we need to call the ER or
Right,
what?"
right, like a normal response to this. So later that night, they're hanging out with Rita again, or Gentry's hanging out with Rita again, and Rita, I thought this was a little bit random, but was like, "Here, wear my lucky pin from the label," which I get why it was necessary for the story, but anyway, so she's wearing her lucky pin.
But maybe again, I like to contribute or attribute that to the idea that maybe Rita also knows that there's some magic and that Gentry needs a little magic this Christmas.
Yeah. So later, Mac calls to check on her because he's still worried that she thinks she traveled through time this afternoon.
Like
And
me.
Gentry is like, "I'm actually at the Opry again right now to see if I can go back again." So this poor security guard at the Opry, by the way, she goes there and she's like, "Hey, I am, Wade's daughter. I am based." So he's like, "Okay, cool. So Opryland is family, your family. What's up?" And she's like, "Well, I was supposed to be here." He's like, "Well, you're not on a list." He's like, "Let me just check for a second. Hold on." She just goes right back. She's going to get him in trouble. I felt so bad for this poor guy.
She did, which it was a little sneaky move, right? Like, she was waiting for him to leave, and then she was gonna kinda sneak back to
Yeah.
the offices. This guy was so nice.
He was so
He
nice. He
was
was
just
trying to
like
help.
he was so Nashville. He was just like, "Well, you're family. Okay, well, let me go."
Yeah, let me
But
go get permission. This'll be fine. Like,
it'll
you're
be fine.
allowed here. If she had just waited 30 seconds,
And then she made that poor man chase her down.
lays her down, and she goes and, like, just plops herself into that pew, and she's gone. He's like, "Nope, nope."
Right, she's in front of him, this is important to know.
Yeah,
She's in front, she runs to the stage because the pews on the stage for people who might not have watched the movie and don't know the Grand Ole Opry like I don't, but
yeah,
the pews are the traditional pews for the family, and friends of performers, and they
mhm,
sit on the stage, so that's the and so she went and she ran there and sat down, and as the security guard
yeah.
got
He's chasing her. Yeah.
waddled on. He was, breathing heavy. This guy doesn't do this kind of work at the Grand Ole
No,
Opry. This is
no.
not typical Opryland security guarding. And then she just disappears in front of
And
him.
he's like, yeah,
I wanna know what happened to him after that.
I know. There we go.
What
We
did
need a
he
spinoff
do?
for him. So she reappears again in the past. She runs into Rita from the past.
Young Rita.
And yeah, young Rita. And Rita's like, "You can't be back here. You can't just like walk in backstage of the Grand Ole Opry." But then she sees that she's wearing the RPM pin. And she's like, "Oh, the label sent you. I didn't realize. So sorry. Welcome. Come on in."
Like the studio sent you for in
Yeah.
Biltmore Christmas for the movie. The studio sent you. And by the way, just young Rita looking fabulous in her 1995 big hair, sparkle, Nashville
Yeah.
getup. She looked perfect. Everybody actually looked perfect in this
Yeah.
movie.
The costumes were or all the styling was so good.
Yeah, maybe we should look up the costume designer.
Yeah.
But you continue. I'm going to look it up while you're talking.
All right. So she sees on the Christmas tree backstage an ornament confirming that it is 1995, which is important
Mhm.
for us to know. And why can't I think? Rita asks her, like, she's like, So what's your name? Who are you from the label? And obviously she can't say she's Gentry Wade. So she starts to say Jen and then goes with Gentry and then says her last name is McCall, which is her like
Which
non
is
crush Christopher Polaha's last name. Like, I'm sorry, but if I had to pull a last name out of thin air, it wouldn't be some man that I'm not into.
that's that's her platonic
That's her
friend's
platonic
name,
BFF. Mm-mm.
definitely not her boyfriend, yeah.
I don't think it is. Meanwhile, back in present day, the security Christopher Polaha has showed up at the Opry and is because he's trying to see if Gentry's okay, thinking she's hit her head because she's going back there to try to travel through time. The security guard is like, I don't know what just happened. She sat here in this pew and then disappeared. And he's like, she sat right here. And then when he sits down, he also gets sucked back to 1995.
And I mean, shout out to Polaha. This guy's a pro at what he does, and I noticed his face when he made the change, and again, this is where because you don't have a lot this is not big Hollywood production, you don't have CGI to
Right.
you have to really depend on your actors to sell that to you, that they're in a different time and a different place and they're surprised, and, of
Yeah,
course, Polaha delivered,
of
as always.
course. He finds Gentry backstage in 1995 at the Opry. Um, she confirms it's 1995, and the significance of that year is we are right before that last Winters and Wade show that we saw happening in the opening scene. And she says, I think that maybe we can find out why they split, and maybe I can see my dad again. And one thing that I did not think was super clear in this movie, at least to me, maybe I missed something. I didn't realize her dad had passed when she was young.
Yeah, they didn't make that super clear that it would I assumed he wasn't there anymore because she talked about, like, "Oh, I miss my dad,"
Yeah.
or "Christmas always makes me think about my dad," but they didn't,
Yeah.
like, really say when she lost him, if it
Yeah,
was when she was a
and
girl.
honestly, for a while, I thought that he, like, was missing or something because it was like, "Where's and Wade?" And I was like, "Does anyone know what happened to Wade at all?"
This is for Hallmark Christmas Mysteries. This is for
Exactly,
Hallmark
but then
Mysteries.
again, I was like, "I don't think he would just be missing," but not in
Not
Hallmark,
in
but it
Christmas
was
Land. Nobody
very unclear that he had
it was
passed away.
unclear. I only knew that he died, and as a matter of fact, as the movie went on, I wasn't sure, like 'cause in Biltmore Christmas, he died on Christmas, and
Right,
that was, like, the whole thing, so I was like, "Oh, is this a whole thing where this might be her last Christmas with him?"
yeah, but
I don't think
yeah,
we ever got that.
well, we find out he died when she was about 16. I think when she
Okay,
was 16 and she's maybe 10 in this.
okay.
I don't know. So so Rita is like, "Oh, who are you?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm Mac McCall." And Rita's like, "Oh, well, this must, same last name." She's like, "Well, this must be your husband. There's too much of a vibe going on here for you guys to be brother and sister," which I
Oh,
love.
boy, love the setup, I love pretend husband and wife
Mhm.
plots. I do enjoy that.
I do too. And of course, it's Nashville at Christmas. There's nowhere to stay except Rita's guest room with one bed, everybody.
Oh, boy.
So
Oh,
we're
they
for
yeah.
something in a minute. And this was really cute. Rita asks, since they grew up together, have you always been in love? And Max says, not consciously, but I always knew that she was special, which I thought was really cute.
Yeah, and she kinda notices that, like,
Yeah, like,
"Oh,
hmm. Now, because one of the reasons we respect the Polaha is because he respects Christmas land rules. And that man is sleeping on the floor in the one bedroom room. And it is so obvious. Like, they make it extremely clear that he is sleeping on the floor. There is no question about where he's sleeping. There's no ambiguity. There's no, like, we're just going to put a pile of stuff on the floor and you can assume that he slept there. No, he is
appreciate it."
sleeping on the floor. It's a big enough bed, but he's sleeping on the floor.
Yep,
Thank you.
they thank you, because if you haven't listened to our 3 wisest men, there are all those episodes, go back and listen to those, but Amelia and I, as I've said before, we have a little bit of a reputation for being prudes, but, it's Christmas
It's
land.
Christmas land. There are rules.
There are rules, and, the rules are that, men and women are very you have a it's marriage or nothing, folks. It's marriage or nothing.
Marriage or nothing.
And so but we do appreciate it when they go to pains to make sure that these people understand it's inappropriate to be in intimate situations together as single adults. So I did also love that he was
Uh,
on the floor, and they didn't make it a big deal.
yeah, it wasn't a big deal. He just that's where he's sleeping, and it's not like a thing. It's just obvious that's where he's go at one point, I think it's later in the movie, but it was hilarious to me. They're sitting on the bed talking, and then he goes, "Well, I better go to bed," and
I
just
love
rolls himself off the bed onto the floor.
when he, like, does this, "Bye."
Yeah, he's like, "Bye." It was so cute. Well, I better go to bed.
I did.
Like,
I
just in
actually
case you
laughed out
didn't
loud.
notice before.
I laughed out loud.
Yeah. But and again, though, it also they use that opportunity to show how well they know each other because she's talking and she stops talking and is gesturing, and he goes, he's like, "You're gesturing, aren't you? I'm on the floor, I can't see you."
Yeah,
But
so
he
cute.
knows. He knows that she's
Very
talking with her hands.
it was very cute.
It was cute. So, they're trying to figure out how Gentry is going to, get in touch with her dad and find out what happened with Winters and Wade. Like, what is, Mac gonna do all day? How is he gonna get Rita kinda maybe out of the way? So he's like, "Well, she's probably working on the archives," because he knows that that's something she was doing in 1995. He's like, "So why don't I pretend to care about all this history, bleh, help her with the archives, and Gentry can get her work done."
I wanna stop you here because I think it's very important. No, we missed this setup that their phones don't work. They have
Oh, yeah.
obviously, they have their you wanna
Yeah.
talk about that?
Yeah, so, he talks about how everyone's so used to Wi-Fi now and cell phones and everything. Their cell phones do not work. He's like, we still have, some of the functions, like you can have your camera or things like that, but we can't actually use our phones because he keeps, a few times he's just automatically picked up his phone and
Yeah,
gone to check it,
I
but
know
it's
I would.
1995.
Yeah, I know I would.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
Um, so
So
Gentry
he's
goes
going to the archives
Yeah, he's working the archives and he is finding a few things interesting. Who saw that coming?
in the Opryland archives,
In the
imagine.
Upperland Archives. It's not as good as like the full archives they had on that one Navy ship in that movie, but
Right,
they
the
were
Navy
okay.
ship that carries all of our military
Carries all their
history,
archives,
just randomly around
and they have gingerbread house competitions. Yeah, that
and
one.
guest quarters.
So Gentry is able to talk to her dad. She sees Winters and Wade, warming up, rehearsing, and she's, from the label. So they talk to her and she talks to her dad and he's like, "Listen, I guess you were sent here because our last couple of albums weren't quite as successful." But he says he's working on some new songs. He's the songwriter of the duo and they'll be ready like in February and we can start recording a new album. I think this one's really going to be good. So now she's really confused. She's talking to Mac later and Mac says, "I think we were brought back here for a reason. We just need to figure out what it is and then do what needs to be done." And she is delighted that he's going to stay with her.
That's it.
So,
It's Myrtle.
yeah,
That's just
and
Myrtle in
he's
the
like,
background. We're at home, folks. The sounds of life come in. So I liked this though, that I liked that Mac said, like, here's our mission.
mhm.
Now we have now I was skeptical at first, but now I'm all in. Let's just do it.
Yeah, he's not leaving her there, they're a team, and like you said, they laid out what the mission is, because that's been a problem in a couple of our movies where we were like, "This was cute, but we're not really sure, like, what is the conflict here? What are they trying
Yeah.
to accomplish?" You need that. So again, she's at the Opry, and Vaughn is talking to somebody else who was he from I couldn't tell where he was from, also from the label, I think?
That's their manager,
That was their manager? Okay.
Lenny. Yeah.
Lenny, okay, manager. So Vaughn is back at the Opry talking to both of them. Or she can hear Vaughn talking to Lenny, their manager.
Right.
And he's saying, "You guys need to chase radio more." But Vaughn and her dad are disagreeing on that. He wants to just kind of keep it about the music, do what they do, and that's what's important. Keep their eye on what's important to them musically, but also personally, and not just, chase radio, as the manager is saying.
And
So
remember, this is their gonna be their last show. This is
this
gonna turn out to be their last show.
It's gonna turn out to be their yeah, I don't think they even know
They
that
don't
yet.
know it, but
Yeah.
but we're peeking in on something important. Here's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so Vaughn tells so we find out that they're thinking about making some changes, bringing in some other writers, which that is dad's job. And so Vaughn is like, "Lenny, just don't bring this up at the Christmas party. Like, there's a time and a place for us to tell him that and to approach this conversation. Don't do it at the Christmas party." And then he's like, "Hey, Gentry, you come to the Christmas party? Like, the label's paying for it. You should probably come." So they go to the Christmas party wearing their beautiful 1990.
Did you skip over the montage? I can't believe you're gonna skip over the montage. I just watched this movie. The difference is I literally watched this movie, like,
Okay.
once before I got on,
I only
so
watched it last night.
super
I didn't
fresh.
think there was a montage yet, was there?
Isn't that what she wore to the Christmas party? She wore what they got when they were shopping? Well,
Did you
I
have a
literally
montage
just
I
watched
didn't
this
have?
movie.
I didn't have a shopping montage. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
Hallmark Plus has an extended version that I didn't get.
Oh, you know what? I bet
I was
that's it.
like,
I bet
I
that
didn't
is
get a
it,
Pretty Woman
because I
montage.
did see extended version on it when I had to go find this movie. The place where I thought it was gonna be for me to watch was not there, so then I had to go, "You don't care. This is not good podcasting." But anyways, I that's exactly what there was a shopping montage. There was a shopping montage in the Hallmark Plus version, and it was great. It was fantastic. It was Rita taking the 2 of them, and they both tried on, like, all the cheesiest of outfits, and it was
Yeah.
sort of a Pretty Woman kinda montage.
So, honestly, I did have some questions about how they suddenly had clothes. Like, I know that there was a reference to them buying clothes.
Yes.
Good to
She
know.
said she said, "Well, since y'all lost your luggage, I guess
Yeah.
you probably need to go shopping." And me, I was like, "Uh-oh, that means montage."
Here we
And
go.
she took them shopping, and so they just did, and it was funny because Polaha had a bunch of funny different shirts.
All these great
And
90s.
oh, yeah, they really nailed the, era with the
They
costume
did.
design.
Although, I was not prepared for a time travel movie that went back, like, to my living memory.
Girl, listen. When I was watching this movie, I was like, I don't know how I feel about a time travel movie that's the 1990s, like, treating it like
I
it's ancient
Yeah.
history.
When I realized that that's what we were going back to, I was like,
It's like when I'm watching TV and I see an ad for, like, I don't know, Depends or something, but they're using, like, 90s pop music,
right.
and I'm like, "I hate you. I
I know.
hate you. I
Yeah.
hate you right now." Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I had literally the same
Yeah.
reaction.
I need to, like, process my feelings about that. Or I can just bury my feelings about it, which is probably what I'm gonna do.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible, it's terrible. Like retro, vintage,
It's
1990.
vintage. Yeah, and
Anyways, back
she's wearing sorry, go
she
ahead.
looks great. Because I want to comment on this.
Yeah.
She looks fantastic in this
Yeah.
dress. I
I
love
mean,
it.
like we said, the costumes and, like, the hair and makeup, it was perfect, and Rita looks incredible, young Rita. Well, I mean, so does today Rita, but
I've been calling her seasoned
seasoned
Rita.
Rita. And she's played by Sharon Lawrence, who's another actress we've seen in a bunch of things,
She's
always
great.
love her.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's wearing this, like, sequined silver dress with these sequin butterflies. It was
It's
impeccable.
fringed. Did you see the full shot? There was one full shot of it. It's fringe. It's got 2 layers of fringe on it. Yeah.
Nice. So, of course, Lenny is doing exactly what he was told not to do, and he's stirring stuff up at the party, being like, "We're thinking about we gotta bring in some new writers, blah, 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 blah." Come on.
That's what one of those it's a big city corporate manager, they're soulless.
Yeah. So Gentry tries to talk to her dad, and they're having a little heart to and so she's like, you know, "I know they wanna bring in some new writers, like, how do you feel? What are you thinking?" And he's not super nice to her, but he's just had a huge blow. He thinks she's from the label. He thinks she
Right.
knew this all along, and he
Yeah, he
wasn't
thinks she's
horrible
the
to
enemy.
her. He was just kinda blew her off a little
There's
bit.
nobody horrible on Christmas Day.
No.
There's nobody truly horrible. Yep.
So now Gentry and Mac are out having a heart to heart by the fire. And I have never been to a party where everybody wasn't around the bonfire, but it's just the two of them. So that was nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody else was inside enjoying whatever it was they enjoyed in 1995 at Christmas party.
I mean, it was probably still spiked eggnog.
Definitely.
So, we get the words of wisdom from Christmas Land. Now, let me tell you, because it's Christopher Polaha, is probably why, we actually got solid advice.
Yeah,
Now,
this was good
last week
advice.
we got don't let the booty mess with the business, which we appreciated.
It's going on a shirt.
But this week we have Gentry, who was talking about how, when she was younger, she went to songwriting camp and she won this competition, wrote all these songs that she felt really good about, but then nobody bought them. And she's like, I cannot take any more rejection. I don't want to try this anymore. And he tells her that persistence is just as important as talent. And I was like, you know what, Christopher Polaha? Your words of wisdom from Christmas Land were actually
Mhm.
decent this time, or not just decent, they were important this time around.
No, I was like, "I need to make a mental note because I'm gonna tell my
Yeah,
kids that."
especially, like, you and I working in a creative industry, we're both writers. It is so true.
It is so true. It was good advice. I had the same reaction as you. I was just like, "You know what? We're later on, we'll have to compile a little book of all the Christmas land
All the wisdom.
wisdom of self-help."
Yeah. And so one of the things that had always been important to her, or something that she believed in, was a Christmas song she wrote when she was a teenager. And she wrote like the beginning of it, but she always pictured finishing it with her dad as a song that they co-wrote, but he passed away. So she never got to finish it. And he's like, "Sing it for me. Let's hear it. Let's go." And so she sings it for him, and it's a really sweet little Christmas song. And her dad is listening in the background, and he also likes the song, but of course he doesn't realize that when she's saying, "I really wanted to write it with my dad," that's him.
Yeah, but it was a really sweet it was nice to I mean, she's got a lovely voice as well, and I just
Beautiful voice.
yeah, she had a beautiful voice. I actually thought this was a sweet moment.
Yeah. The next day they're talking again. Gentry and her dad get to connect, and he apologizes for being a little short with her the night before, and she's like, "That's fine, whatever." Um, and he says, "Listen, I did hear you last night by the fire talking about your Christmas song that you wanted to write with your dad, and it's a great song. And if you want to, you're a really good writer. I would like to help finish it with you," which is obviously exactly what she wanted in the first place.
You know what it made me think of when he said that? I thought Field of Dreams. Kinda had a really like a Field
Yeah.
of Dreams, like, I wanna play ball with my dad one last time, like,
Hmm.
sing with my dad one last time. That's what I thought about.
Yeah. So she gets to play with her dad. They're playing, working on the song. They have, this sweet time together working on
It
it.
was really sweet. I keep using the word sweet in this movie,
But
but
it
I think the
is.
whole thing was like it's an overarching theme, which is sweet, which is
Yeah.
what we want.
And Christopher Polaha sees this moment where they're working together on the song, and he takes out his phone and takes a video of it, so she'll have that back in the
Yeah.
present.
Christopher Polaha in his like Cosby shirts or whatever.
I thought it looked like the shirt from that Garth Brooks album. It's a Garth Brooks album cover shirt.
Color block shirt, that was the look though.
Yeah.
That was the look in the '90s,
Yeah.
y'all. The color block, everybody had certainly if you were
Mhm.
a star. I
Yeah.
can tell you what, I know 1000% for sure both Vanilla Ice and New Kids on the Block wore that shirt.
There you
And
go.
I think I might have had 1 or 2 in my own
I
closet.
mean, sure, obviously.
He looked good though. Paul, you made him look good though.
You did. If anybody could, it's
Yeah,
Christopher Polaha.
he made it look okay.
So, Gentry, of course, this nice moment gets interrupted because Lenny and Vaughn come in and they're like, "Let's talk about the new album. Get out of here, Gentry.
Business. We're busy businessmen. We're doing business at Christmas
We're
time.
doing important things." So, they have plans for a new album. And listen to this, Kira. They want to start recording on the 20th so that it'll be out in time for them to go on a 9-month world tour starting in like the spring, summer. He's like, "Dude, my songs won't be done till February." They're like, "Well, you're not writing the songs." And he's like, "Listen, I want to be with my family for Christmas. I'm not going to leave again on the 26th. We had this break where I was actually going to be with my wife and daughter. And then, Gentry has songwriting camp this summer, which is where she wins that award later. I want to be there for her. Like we had a schedule, and now you just have this whole new thing." And Vaughn is like, "I want to fill stadiums. I want to do this." And the dad is like, his name's Jet, by the way. I keep calling him dad, but Jet is
Yeah.
like, "I want those things too, but we have to keep our priorities in order. And for me, it's my family."
I
So when you
I
get,
really liked this part, especially like we were coming off of sort of the beloved but jarring, situations in Three Wisest Men,
Yeah.
and we talked a little bit. I don't wanna bring this episode down. We just talked a little bit about the idea of the, unrelenting positivity of Christmas Land and Hallmark, but the tradition that also at the way that in Sex and the City, which is another one of my favorite series, New York was like the 5th
Yeah.
character, they say. The city was the character. And I think in Hallmark Land, the feeling is the other character,
Yeah.
right? That feeling of sweetness. Family is the 3rd character in the romance,
Yeah.
and I loved that they just really made a point to say, "Family is important and it matters."
Yeah. And they basically, well, not basically, they tell Jet his choices are he can do this schedule that they've given him, where he starts the day after Christmas and they're gone for 9 months out of the year, or Winters is gonna go solo, and he has to decide by the Christmas special,
Christmas deadline.
Christmas deadline. Check. So now we lighten things up with the baking montage. Just be
Yay! So maybe that's why they took the shopping montage out of the
Yeah,
original because they already had the baking montage, so I
yeah,
got treated to 2.
and they, Christopher Polaha and Nikki DeLoach. They had some pictures on I follow both of them on Instagram from our Journey to Christmas account, and they have worked together probably since about 1995. They've known each other and worked together time and time again, and you could just feel that closeness in that montage. They were, like, playing and laughing, and it was such a nice moment, and you could tell
I
there was, like,
these
genuine closeness there.
Yes, these 2 had great chemistry, and I've also been following Polaha and from my personal account, and he's been posting photos of their when they were on I think they met on, like, 90210 or something
It was
way
something
back in the
like
day.
that. It was some
Him and his wife did, because his wife's an actress as well.
Mhm,
I'm not sure if she does much anymore, but they met there, but I think he also met Nikki at that time. He was posting a lot of pictures, and so
yeah,
I just wanna say I was making fun of his '90s um, outfits in this movie, but then honestly, some of the shirts were shirts that he was wearing in the pictures that he posted from the
you know?
but it was really cute, and anyway, back to your point, they had great chemistry. They
Yeah,
have fantastic chemistry. I felt like these 2 people enjoyed being together, and that read on the screen. The
yeah,
montage was
it did,
everything that a baking montage should be in Hallmark.
it did, and so while they're baking, I'll at the toward the end of the scene, he's got his sleeves rolled up so he doesn't get dough on everything, and she realizes his big fancy watch from winning all those awards is gone. And he's like, "Well, I had to sell it so that we could buy all these clothes and do this, until Christmas." And she's like, "You would do that for me?" And he's like, "Well, obviously, you need this time with your dad. We have to get this done. It's just a watch."
It was very sweet. Even it's just a watch, the one for being the best
Best
manager in the
manager.
world.
It was a little I mean, I was gonna say it was a little bit gift of the magi, but not really. It was just him selling something. There really wasn't, like, a thing on the other end, so never mind.
Yeah, no, never mind. I thought there kinda might be. I thought that might come back to us, but it never boomeranged.
Yeah. So, Rita gets a call that Jet, left kinda stormed out after that meeting and has not come back to the Opry for rehearsal and sound check and all that, and she's like, "Somebody has to go find him." So, Gentry and Mac go after him, which I thought was kinda funny because Rita I should have mentioned this before, Rita is his cousin.
Right.
And I was like, "Kinda makes sense for family to go rather than the lady from the label that he's mad at."
I know, but you gotta set it up
But you
somehow,
gotta
and I guess
it had to
in
be
Christmas Land, also here I think this is sort of one of the unspoken rules of Christmas Land also, but if someone has been in your home and slept in your guest room, they're basically family.
they're your family now. Yeah, absolutely. So they find Jet, and Gentry says, "You've got these 2 options," or I'm sorry, no, it's Mac, and he says, "So, if you could go to the future, which choice" he says, "Which choice would you regret not making?" Which I thought was a really awkward way to word it, but that's
I
fine.
did too. It's so funny you say that because that is it's apropos of nothing. It means nothing, but it just
Right.
triggered. I'm like, "Oh,
Just
this
say
feels
just say
awkward."
what choice would you regret making? Not
Anyway,
regret not
we're
making it
such
didn't make any sense,
nerds.
but anyway,
The writer nerds on the
we're
Christmas
being really
podcast.
nitpicky
Anyway,
right now.
sorry.
So Jet asks Mac, "Is there something that you regret not doing?" And he says, "Yeah." He says, "When I was growing up, there was this girl who lived next door, and I really wanted to ask her to the winter formal, but I chickened out and I didn't ask, and this other guy did. And then she ended up dating him through high school. They got married, and now that is her ex-husband, but, I've always been kind of in love with her, and Jet it was really funny. He goes, "Well, that better be the woman sitting next to me on this bench or this is about to get really awkward." And he's like, "Yes, it
Yeah,
is my wife."
you're in luck.
So, he goes back to the Opry. He's, kind of figured things out, and Gentry's like, "Is that true about the winter formal?" He's like, "Well, duh." And they kiss, and it's only 1 hour and 27 minutes into the
Yeah.
movie,
They
including
all
commercial time.
they almost made it. But yeah, that was, I was like, "Whoa,
I
okay,
know.
okay."
I mean
If anyone gets a pass on this, it's Polaha.
exactly, and especially they've been in love since high school, and they've
That's
been
true.
best friends. I guess we'll allow it.
We'll allow the kiss before the end of the movie, but the Christmas Land rules really are kiss at the
You
end
don't
of the
kiss
movie.
until the end. The kiss was
Mhm.
supposed to be interrupted.
Yeah, yeah.
They're supposed to
We'll
almost kiss and get a phone call, but
we'll allow it.
we will allow it. Alright, it is the night of the Christmas show. Winters and Wade are taking the stage, and Winters is like, "I know that you're not a record executive." And she's like, "Oh, no." But he thinks that she's actually a songwriter who was just trying to get a break, and then somebody mistook her for a record executive, and she went with it. And so she's like, "Oh, sure."
It was cute. It was cute. He said, "I got my big break, but I climbed the wall of George Strait's,
Yeah,
backyard and pretended I was the gardener."
yeah. And she's like, "Oh, okay." And he says, "Listen, you have so much talent. I wanna have a meeting with you. I wanna talk about your songwriting career. We're gonna make this happen for you." And she doesn't really know what to do because for that to work, obviously, she has to stay in 1995. And Mac is willing to stay there with her. But
Mm,
Gentry says, "Well, you have siblings and parents, and you have a whole family who are just gonna think you went missing," which, again, I appreciated there's somewhat of a reality check there. And
right.
and he's like, "Well, then we'll just show up again in 30 years, and I'll be old, and I'll have all these cool stories to tell them." And she's like, "I don't know about that." But
Well,
it's a big decision.
it is, but I will say this, if you're gonna do something like that, like go to the past and then choose to stay in the past for the great love of your life. If you're gonna do something like that, Christmas Land's the place to do it because
It is.
you probably could show up after 30 years and people might be a little miffed,
Mhm.
but they'd just make you a cup of hot chocolate and y'all would work it out. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
give him a pass on this because he's going by Christmas Land rules and
He
Christmas
is.
Land culture. So he
He
probably
is.
could show up after 30 years, but I do think that there is a measure of trauma in this movie that has not been properly addressed. People just disappearing in front of you and like there's there's trauma that's
There's a
carrying
lot.
forward for certain people in this
There's a
film.
lot. So, um, Winters and Wade have their little talk, and he says, "We just want different things. You want the big superstardom." Jet says this, "You want the big superstardom. I wanna be with my family. That's more important to me. We have done incredible things together, but, now it's time to part ways." And so Vaughn says, "What are we gonna tell everybody?" And he says, "Well, we're just gonna say that we had a really great run, and now you're going solo." He's like, "And no one needs to know anything else. It's nobody else's business," which I kind of appreciated.
I liked it. And
Yeah.
it was the perfect Christmas Land breakup.
Yeah. So they're
Yeah.
gonna have one
No
more
hard
song.
feelings. Yeah.
No, no. So they're gonna have this one last Christmas song at the Opry. They're gonna go out on top, and then, shake hands and go out as friends, which we saw at the beginning. Concert starting, but Jet realizes he doesn't have his guitar pick because he had given it to Gentry earlier. No problem. Mac has got this handled. He goes to hand him the pick, but there's all this, chaos, and he gets shoved back down into the pew. Again, disappears, but nobody seems to notice back in 1995 that he's
I
disappeared.
Yeah, no one reacted to him just but it was really busy. That was cute too, the way it was, like, people were he was
Yeah.
getting jostled around, and he couldn't catch his balance,
Yeah.
the whole
And,
thing was
and you can see it in his eyes, he realizes as he's falling, he's like, "No, no, no, no." Oh, bam.
yes. Again, Polaha is a total pro. This guy
Mhm.
is so good at his job, and I mean that seriously.
Yeah.
I'm also a trained actor, although I don't do it anymore, and I mean it.
Yeah,
Like, that microsecond that you get to see, you don't get to do that kind of work in Christmas Land movies. He manages to do it anyway.
yeah, yeah. And then there's this funny moment where he's keeps trying to go back to 1995 and he's just like plop,
Yeah.
plop, plop, but it
Did
doesn't work.
you in the regular version, did you get a scene where he went to his grandmother's flower shop?
No.
There's a beautiful scene in there, another scene that I got to see where he goes to his grandmother's flower shop
Aw.
that shop provides flowers for the Grand Ole Opry, and so Rita sends him over there to pick up the flowers. He walks and sees his younger grandmother.
Aw.
He's talking to her, and then a boy walks in and says, "Grandma, do you have that delivery?" And she says, "Yeah, Mac, it's on the table." And I might cry even
Mm.
talking about it. He turns around and Polaha gives his younger self a look that is so filled with regret, joy, recognition, nostalgia, and homesickness.
Yeah.
And it reads right across his face for like, and you know, he wasn't looking at anything when he was
Yeah,
filming
right.
that shot, right? He wasn't seeing the boy walk away. But I don't know, maybe I'm menopausing today or something. I don't know why I'm so emotional about this.
Well, I was, like, crying about Mark Leclerc giving away the Mighty Mac last week, so we both are having feelings about things on this show.
And the most random of things. Anyway, yeah, that was a nice moment you didn't get, but I got, and it's just testament to, I think, what a great actor he is.
Yeah.
Sorry to get
There
weird.
oh, I need to find it. Um, so back at the 1995 show, um, so it kinda it goes back and forth. You know, they're both at the Opry, but she's in at the 1995 Christmas show. He is there in 2025 as this 100th anniversary Christmas show is about to kick off.
And he's wearing his '90s outfit
And he's
too.
wearing his 90s outfit. Rita's
It's
just like,
terrible.
"Okay, this is a mood? Sure."
I guess the kids are into the retro stuff these
Yeah,
days. They're
exactly.
trying to be younger.
So, after the 1995, the final Winters and Wade show, he gives Gentry his guitar, and that had been mentioned earlier that he's got this guitar, Gigi, it's like a famous guitar, nobody knows what happened to it. Well, he had given it to her, he gives it to her after the show. So and you can see Nikki DeLoach, again, she's emoting really beautifully when she didn't have a lot of lines.
Yeah.
She's really torn, you know, this is her dream to write music. It's being offered to her in 1995. Or is she gonna go back to 2025 with Mac and live her life as it was, as it went
Yeah.
the first time, you know? And so as in
And we're not
2025.
gonna think about all of the ways that the world is gonna change if
Right.
they aren't there
If
to
there are
touch
2
all of
if you're
these
at 1.
lives along the way.
Right. So in 2025, they're introducing Von Winters, you know, for the Winters and Wade retrospective, whatever. And as Von Winters comes on stage, she appears in the pew. So she has also decided to come back and she's just like sitting there holding the guitar. um,
Again, no reaction, no one sees it.
nope. Everybody's just like, oh, hey, what's up? And I thought there was going to be more about like, whoa, you have the guitar that everyone's been looking for, but
Yeah.
not really.
No, and I didn't get it in my version either, so
No.
maybe it just wasn't there.
Um, so she goes up, you know, to the stage with Vaughn, and he says that, you know, she's a great songwriter in her own right. You know, he's talking to the crowd. She's a great songwriter in her own right. And he's like, and, you know, I have this incredible song that Gentry actually wrote with her dad years ago. And it is the Christmas song that they had written together in 1995. So he knew the whole time. So when he was talking to her earlier about Christmas magic and Opryland magic working together, it's because he had figured out at some point
Mhm.
that she was Gentry gone back in time.
It's sort of like it is related, I think, to that Christmas Land trope of, "Is this really Santa
Yeah.
or not?" Like, maybe there is, maybe there isn't magic here. Somebody knows.
Yep. And he knew.
Mhm.
So, what I thought was kind of strange here, a rare moment that I didn't love in this movie is she gets up, you know, to give her little tribute to Winters and Wade and really just talks about herself and like her songwriting dreams and all this stuff. I was like, this is a weird time to do this.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's the end of the movie, so we gotta
It
wrap it
is.
up. Again,
We do.
I loved her speech, and
I
she was
did. It
really
just was
good.
not the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. It's not about you.
Right. It's not. This isn't. This isn't
But it's
about you, Dana.
Christmas Land, so it's always about
It's always
the
about you.
female lead. Yeah, it's always about the female lead.
Well, it turns out that Winters has gotten Brad Paisley wants to sing her song. And so they perform her song. You know, our leads are together. Everyone's happy. Things are good in Christmas land. She's going to be a songwriter. The end.
And well, how did your movie end? My movie ended on her image of her dad going home for Christmas.
Yes. Yeah. It ended
Okay,
on,
yeah.
yeah, of him in 1995 going home for
Yes.
Christmas and hugging her.
And going to their cabin in Gatlinburg and getting the white Christmas because she remembers that Christmas as her white Christmas. They had snow, and that last shot, I I
Yeah.
was
It was
moved
really
by. I
sweet.
thought that was so sweet, but I thought it was so sweet because really, this is a movie about family.
Yeah.
This is a family. There's always family in Christmas Land, but this is a movie about
Yeah.
family.
Yeah. That family matters more than everything else.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That is A Grand Ole Opry Christmas. And with Christopher Polaha, respect for the Polaha has gone way up
Through the roof.
through the roof after this movie. What are your final thoughts here? Or what are your summary thoughts here, I'll say.
It was just so nice to come back, finish the season on, really being in Christmas land. And of course, with the most respectable of all Christmas land actors, the Polaha.
And it does feel like this is a great movie to end the live Christmas season. We'll have 2 more, replays for you, but feels like this is a great way to end with one of our favorite, one of our favorite Christmas Land actors, and it's
Hmm.
got all of our, favorite things that we love, and it had a sweetness to it that felt like the old Hallmark. That's the old Hallmark that we love, that sweetness. I enjoyed this movie. I texted Amelia 10 minutes into it. I was like, "This movie's so cute already."
Yeah.
Lovely themes. Let's run down some tropes. Let's see if we got
Let's
some
do
tropes
it.
out of this film. We had a few. Do we have any Christmas tree decorating?
No, I don't think we
No,
did.
no Christmas tree decorating. Did anybody fall off anything and into somebody else's arms?
No.
No. Baking montage.
Yep.
Any precocious children?
No.
Nope. Do we have a situation awkward situation that could be easily cleared up with a simple conversation?
No. There's no simple conversation about this. That
No.
security guard is still traumatized.
Yes. We've
Oh, and
never
I
gone
do
back
want to
there.
say about the security guard, I kind of got like Reginald Vel Johnson and Die Hard vibes.
Yeah. Or you know what? You may not. I don't. Have you seen the movie Get Out?
Yeah.
His cousin, the TSA agent.
Oh, I don't know if I remember that.
Oh, his cousin, spoilers for Get Out, which is 100 years old by now. But yeah, his cousin who saves the day at the end comes to pick him up.
Okay.
He's the black TSA agent.
Okay, yeah.
Reminded me of him.
Okay.
Yeah. I think this guy serves as black best friend. I guess.
Well, I guess, being the yeah, I think he does serve as black best friend in a
We
way.
have no black best friend.
He almost felt guardian angel-y to me, and I don't really know why. Because the
Hmm.
guardian angel would be in on it,
Right.
but
Maybe they
and
missed
he was
that
clearly
opportunity.
freaked out, but something about him, I mean, he didn't have a huge role, but I don't know, something about him was just really warm, and
That's
I
fine.
really
You know
liked
what?
him.
Maybe that's the Opry spirit. Just sort of
Maybe it's opera magic.
I love that observation. Well, good job, man, by the way, and if you need therapy, you know, this is because I think of people disappeared in front of him a number of times, and I don't and reappeared. So,
Yeah.
he's definitely dealing with the trauma. Okay, well, let's get into our awards. This is the portion of the podcast where we award our actors in our film, the prizes for all of their accomplishments. We'd like to start with the Robert A. Barron Award for villainry. This goes to who we consider the villain of the film. And you guys are going to be in luck because we're doing a replay of the movie
Mhm.
where we got this award. The character that inspired this award, we're going to replay that for you in the coming weeks. So tune in for that. But Amelia, for today, who did you give your Robert A. Barron Award for villainry to?
I think it has to be Lenny the manager. Again, sort of like last week, he's sort of a true Robert A. Barron because he's doing his job. he is a jerk about it, to be fair,
Mhm.
but he also is like, "I am here to help you make more money, get bigger venues, that is my job."
That is his job, but he didn't have to replace Jet with a team of writers
And
before
he
he
didn't have
even.
to bring it up at a Christmas party, like, he was a true Robert A. Barron, but also just a regular villain.
Yeah, I think you're right. The fact that he brought it up at the Christmas party does make him a Christmas villain. I agree with you. He's my pick as well. Lenny the manager is our Robert Barron award winner.
Mhm.
Okay, great. That was easy. Well, let's go to the Christmas Ham Award. I love this award. This award goes to the character or actor some that we think was over the top, just gave it their all. Amelia?
I had a hard time with this one. I think, though, I'm going to go with young Rita.
I'm gonna echo your same thing, young Rita. I actually loved young Rita. I loved this actress. She nailed the part. I loved they even helped her out so much with the costuming and the
Mhm.
makeup. She looked like she should look. Yeah, I
Yeah,
really liked her. I really like this actress. She did a great job.
yeah. She's really good.
Yeah.
Um, I would love to
All
see her in more things. She looked like a really good comedic actress as well, like, I would love to see her
Yeah,
in a
she
bigger
was
role.
genuinely funny when they were baking the cookies, and she kept saying, "I'm baking these cookies for the old Opry," and then at the end of the montage, she's like, "Okay, y'all have to stop eating the cookies.
Right, they keep, like, feeding them to each other and, like, eating the dough. She's like, "Stop."
I know you're falling in love, but these cookies are actually
But the
for
cookies
people."
are actually like, "We're here to do a job."
Yeah. So, no, I agree, total agreement, loved her. All right, well, we're 2 for 2 so far, Amelia. I'm really
I think we're
interested
gonna
in
be
this
3
one.
for 3.
Well, let's see. Let's see who you gave her. This is the Christmas tree topper. This is the Academy Award of the show.
Mhm, mhm.
Amelia, who did you give your tree topper award to?
With respect, I'm giving it to Christopher Polaha.
Okay. So since you did that, listen, I wanted to give it to Christopher Polaha, but I have to say that Nikki DeLoach did such a great
She
job.
did.
And I was hoping you would give it to Christopher so that I could give mine to her because naturally, as soon as the movie started, I'm like, well, my tree topper's going to the
Right?
Polaha. It's not going
You
anywhere
didn't even
else.
have to watch it to give him the tree topper.
I really didn't even have to watch it. But Nikki DeLoach, I thought, did such a great job. She also had some really beautiful and sincere moments in the
Yeah,
film,
she
and
really
she was
did.
lovely to watch. She's adorable as well, but talented. I didn't know she was a singer as well. I guess most actors
Yeah,
are, but I didn't realize she was a singer as well.
yeah,
And they
beautiful
had
singer,
such
yeah.
great chemistry. I think it's fitting that we picked them both for the
Yep.
tree topper. Great. I This is fabulous. Well, Amelia, just overall thoughts about the experience.
This movie just, like, warmed me up inside.
Mhm.
It was just what we needed.
I'm ready for Christmas with this movie. I
Mhm.
really am. I thank you, Amelia, for picking this. You did us right. Thank you for, you know, washing the bad taste of Mark's picks.
Marked selection.
Mark is not allowed to pick the movies anymore. No shade to all the people who worked on that movie because y'all completed a movie and that's not for nothing. But, we have a formula here. I think we should just stick to it. Amelia knows what she's doing. She's the Christmas land expert
I
for a
have pretty good
reason.
radar when I look at the description, watch the I'm like, "Mm-mm, we're not that one's not gonna
She
be good."
does. She's like the water diviner, like the stick,
Yeah.
and like she knows the movies to
I'm
go
like,
to.
"It's this one. It's this movie."
And someday we're gonna do an Amelia Hamilton archive. Like we're gonna have an Amelia because Amelia, you guys you haven't even experienced a quarter of the archive that's up here. And Amelia's had of Christmas Land. She's got a reference
We're
for
gonna have to
everything.
do
It's
the
insane. No, she
we're gonna have to
legitimately.
replay the one that I actually really liked, but I could not get over the historical inaccuracies, that Jill Wagner one where they're trying to
Yeah.
I was like, "But that's not the right year for World War II."
Oh boy. Yeah, we
I'm
struggle with the accuracy in Christmas Land. We do struggle with it, but we
I'm
love it
fine with time
all.
travel, but
Yeah, we really have no issues with time travel. No, I'm fine with it all, and I did appreciate that the characters in this movie. I liked the little bit of resistance from Polaha, but in the end, we all got to go with it. We got a movie to make, and we don't have a lot of time to spend in disbelief, and that's what I like about the Christmas Land movies.
yeah.
We don't have time to spend in disbelief. um, you go into it with your whole heart, and that's what so the good movies make you feel like you're there with your whole heart. This movie was a good movie because you even felt like the security guard,
I did.
was a magical figure, you know? It was the heart of that's the heart of the movie, I think. So
Yeah,
well done to everybody. Totally enjoyed it.
absolutely.
5 stars.
Absolutely. 5
All right.
stars.
Well, we gotta go. I know I've gotta put a few extra touches on Christmas, so I'm gonna go do that, and I'm hoping that you and Myrtle have the best Christmas and your family. I know you also spend it with your family. I'll be with mine. And Amelia, would you like to
You too.
send a Christmas message out to our listeners before I let you go?
Just thanks for coming on this journey to Christmas land with us, and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. We're glad to have you with us. You might notice we do this show for fun, not because we're trying to be rich and famous like some people.
Are you suggesting we're not gonna quit our day jobs for this?
Yeah, no, we're not.
That is news to me.
Yeah, we're not. I don't do that. Just hang on. Yeah,
Please
just hang
don't do
on. Can you go get that letter back?
that.
That's a setup for a Christmas movie, right? We've got to travel across the country to get the letter out of the room. No, it is. Well, that's great. And I echo Amelia's message to our listeners. And I just want to say Merry Christmas to you and yours. 'Tis the season to be jolly, but it's also the season of love. And it's a season of love for a reason. It's actually the season of love because this is the season when God came to earth and clothed himself in human flesh and set aside his holiness that he didn't have to do, set it aside to become the lowest of the low, to become us so that we could become his children. And
Mhm.
that's the good news of this season, that we haven't been left alone to our own devices or to, the wheel of time of history. There's a time travel movement, a movie, we haven't been left alone in that, but that Jesus has come in the very weakest form as the very strongest figure in the universe to come pluck you out of where you are in your timeline right now and rescue you and bring you back to him and his family. That's the good news of this season. And that's why we call it the season of love. So,
Yeah.
Amelia,
Amen.
I look forward to seeing you next year. And until we meet again, Merry Christmas. And I wish you days filled with beautiful music.
Merry Christmas, and I wish you only the best exposition.
Wow, gosh, that's probably the best Christmas gift I'm gonna get this year. Man, that's a good one, Amelia. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.